Alright, the big red button's been pushed. Welcome back, everybody. This is Benjamin Juan. I'm your host, and this is the Natives in America podcast. I'm all nervous. I'm messing it up already. With me, as always, is my co-host Sky and Toom.
Yo, what's good? What's poppin'?
And so it's poppin', brother. We got we got a very special guest here with us today. Our interviewee is Cissi Marie Juan. Right? Did I say that all right?
Yes.
Cissi. I never know how to pronounce it or say it. So,
what do you prefer to be?
Professionally, everybody calls me Cissi Marie. Everybody that knows me personally will call me Cissi.
Okay. Give us one more toast real quick, Sky. Give us a toast.
Toast.
Okay. I'm messing with the dials here. I messed it all up. Whoa. Is that me? I don't know what that's coming from. Anyway, alright, so what we're starting to do this season is we're trying to have everybody do like the native announcement. What is that? And then Sky's producing feedback. I don't know.
My headphones?
I think we're good.
Alright.
Whatever that was. Anyway, don't worry about it. So kind of I don't even know what that's called. Do you know what it's called? Like
an introduction?
So I would just like you to say, your name, where you're from. Huh?
Mine went off. I don't hear anything now.
I was hoping that wouldn't happen. Okay, try this one.
Oh.
I do that all the time. Okay. Man, this is technical difficulties here right off the bat. It's not good.
Yep.
Hopefully you'll hear it. If not, we might have to grab those headphones.
Never mind.
You hear us now? You hear us now?
Yeah.
Alright, good. So basically, this is my name and where I'm from, your parents, and if you want to go that step further, their parents. But, at least you, where you're from, and your parents, where they're from. Okay? So go for it.
Alright, Anyapjigik Cissi Marie Juan, and Yamajit Wutch at Joydak Jikakukjikranum, and you get to go with Mike Juan, Kathy Vance, and you waskot Daniel Juan Butt, and you got Melissa Miles Butt, and you good to go at Evelyn Gonzalez Butt, Sylvester Vance Butt. I'm Cissi Marie. I come from the community of Newfield in the Chickacook district. My parents are Michael Juan and Kathleen Vance. My paternal grandparents are the late Daniel Juan and the late Melissa Miles. My maternal grandparents are the late Evelyn Gonzalez and the late Sylvester Vance, who is from the San Carlos Apache tribe.
Wow.
Cool.
Wow. Yeah. That was the first. That was the first right there. I like it. I like it a lot.
Good.
All right, so we got to start at the beginning because, we're related, and I still don't quite know you. You don't know you, so for me, it's gonna be like. I want to go very early on, what kind of childhood did you have?
Yeah. So it was pretty cool because I listened to when you guys interviewed Amy Juan. So she's my first cousin, our cousin.
I was wondering that.
Yeah, okay. And so a lot of the things she shared were very similar. I grew up in Sells, but of course our family's from Newfield, so we spent a lot of weekends and weekdays in Newfield with my grandpa, my dad, family out there, and just, kind of the same thing she expressed with just having that freedom of roaming around in, the village and playing with all the cousins, and then, the memories of just being with our grandpa and going to the gate and him always buying us soda or, some kind of treat and just being in the back of his truck. And I remember, our uncles would go hunting, our cousins would go hunting, and we would just be sitting in the back of the truck in the mountains here. Cool. And I remember, the rabbits, them, being in the back of the truck with them, and just those are my memories. I mean, even something as simple as just hanging on the corral, climbing up those corral bars and just hanging there, watching my grandpa do his thing. Those are things that I cherish.
Yeah, nice. Was it traditional? Because you're a native speaker. And you're a very strong speaker from what I just heard you talk. And I was wondering, were they really pushing the language and traditions on you, growing up?
Yeah, you know what? Not really.
Really?
I learned a lot of my culture, and I'm not a fluent speaker, but I do know a little, and a lot of the songs that I've learned and just cultural or Humaduk in general, I learned once I started school. I think one of my very first teachers was Miss Verna Enos. That's where I found my love for singing, and that's definitely still something that is a part of who I am. Like, I still use it today.
Cool.
So it wasn't even until I started school where I learned about Humaduk and who I really was as an O'odham child. I think in my family they set the foundation of who we are as a family and what love meant and what it looked like for our family, and those values, whether it was traditional values or just our family values. But once I started to really interact and be engaged in the community as a student and just as a young person in the community, that's really where Humaduk came about.
Yeah, for me, I only knew the school learning, and you really need to practice it outside of school, like not just in the classroom. And I always regret not learning to fully speak. Like I tried one time. I was trying to talk to an elder in my village, I'm just going to throw a few words out there. And then he just started going, and I was like, oh, my God. I just sat there and got all sad and depressed with myself, like, oh, my God, I don't know my language. And it hurts to not know it. So I kind of was hoping that the tribe would welcome, Duolingo or something, so, we could just practice it, capture the language, and then have make it real easy for us to study it wherever you are.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they ever would, but that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm impressed with you, for real. One of my greatest memories in high school is when they announced you were going to sing the national anthem in O'odham. I got all choked up. I was like, oh my God, that's my cousin. That's my cousin. I was so proud, hearing your voice. I could tell, you're going to sing in front of a whole bunch of people. That alone is hard to do, but then to sing the O'odham and sing the national anthem, I got red in the face, and I was like, I'm so proud of her. I felt it, and that was impressive, real impressive. I think it was our football game or something.
Yeah.
Whatever it was badass.
Thank you. It's funny because and I hate to say this, but how I learned the national anthem in O'odham was through Ida's class.
Yeah.
We had to learn it as a class.
Really?
I was one of the only ones that probably took it serious, but I was really only doing it because I'm not making fun of a singer or I don't know what, but I just did it. I don't know, it wasn't even anything serious. I was just messing around, and somebody heard it or picked up on it, I don't know, but then I just ended up singing it for the school, and then started getting all these requests everywhere, and it was just funny to me because I wasn't taking it serious. I was just doing it because it was something we had to do.
Yeah.
And then I was also just mimicking someone else, and it came out to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad whoever gave you that nudge did it, because you can do it now.
Yeah.
You can do it, and it was beautiful. I was like, wow. I was real proud. I don't think I had ever heard the national anthem sang like that over a loudspeaker, and I was really impressed. I was like, that's my cut.
Yeah, they always did that recording. They would just play it during the game.
Oh, yeah.
So to hear it live and someone singing it, the power of singing,
Yeah.
Even though you weren't taking it serious, it was what you were saying was amplified and
it was
impacted people. So
it was a big thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did. Whoever.
Thank you for Ida for making it a requirement to learn, but also kind of. I know singing is one of your talents, but I guess what is your passion? Because it seems like singing kind of opened things up for you, but what are you passionate about, as a person, or I guess in school, what were you sort of passionate about, that kind of?
I think I was passionate about singing, just from the very beginning. In kindergarten with Miss Verna Enos' class, we had our dance group and our singers, And the one thing I remember is that I think it was at that point where I started to also realize that men and women had different roles as far as like our cultural traditions. And so I always wanted to play the drum. I always wanted to be the drummer when we sang. And they were like, no, that's the boys. Like, only the boys can do that. And I remember having this feeling of like, well, why can't I do it? And I want to be a boy. Like, because they're leading the songs, they're able to do the drums, they can do the shoutout. And we couldn't as girls. And I always wanted to be that leader, but I couldn't because I wasn't the male. And so I remember that feeling at that time, like I wanted to be a boy because I wanted to do those things. But you know, I guess at that point I just kind of stepped back and been more of a supportive person to whoever it was that was leading. And so it was songs. I became a singer at that time. It was in kindergarten. And then from there, I guess, it just always stuck with me and opened up. And even outside of culture, like, you know, my mom and dad, they have stories of, I used to be obsessed with like Janet Jackson, and we would go to these stadiums, maybe it was games or something, and my mom and my dad always talk about this memory of me playing on the stairs, and they look back and, you know, I guess the team had come out or whatever, I don't even know what it was, but the lights are shining, you know, like those big strobe lights, and they look back and I was like walking down like, this is you came to see me. And they just said, like, I've always been that person. Like, I've always wanted to be a singer. I've always wanted to be a rock star. I've always wanted to be an entertainer, I guess. And I remember, I feel very lucky that they recorded me a lot as a young child. So these are memories I don't have, but I see it play back on video, and I remember them. I didn't know they were there. They were recording me, and I was standing in front of this mirror, and I was like really singing, and I guess I was eating an apple at the same time, and then I choked, and so I'm like singing away, and then I start choking in the mirror. Like, that's just always been my personality, I guess.
Yeah, nice. That's kind of what this is. Like, I like capturing it. Like I always tell Sky, I tell all our guests, like, this is an opportunity to save you. Like we're taking a picture of you here now at this age you are, and then later, either, you know, you'll be a grandma or something, you know, you'll be like way up there, up in age, and say, hey, this is me. Why don't you can always tell people this is my story if you want to go there. And it's captured, and I love that. Like, I really love that, and I kind of feel it's for my son too, like that he'd be able to go and, like, when I'm gone, he'll be like, oh, I'm thinking, or he gets to see or hear who I am as a person. Like, and that's why this is so important. I'm realizing it more and more how important it's become. Yes. And I like that you had that. That's a good thing. That sometimes parents, they overdo it, like, picture, but like, that's the difference between us now and our parents. It's like there's nothing except for maybe what people save. So it's like we're all digital now. Now you can turn around and see yourself many years later, and it's saved. Right. So this is a beautiful thing. I'm really glad we're doing it, especially with you. We're capturing this snapshot of who you are. I like that. I think the most exciting part, which I was sharing with Sky, is like I feel like you both know a very different part of me that not everybody knows. A lot of people, because of the things I've done or just things I've been involved in, have an idea of who I am or this image of who I am, but there's so much more to what they think they know. And I feel like it's because we grew up together in school, and we're involved in these different things that we'll get to. We'll get it. That you guys have seen a very different part of me that some people don't even believe that I've been a part of. So I think it's really cool. And that was most exciting, is that, like, you guys really know that part of me. Nice.
Very nice. Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
I think that's what's been kind of happening lately, is it's a shared history in time, or a shared moment, and we all sort of like saw it, and now we're reflecting on it, and it's cool to hear it from another person close to you, of like what they remember and what they saw, or you know, almost now, like, why it is the way you are, you know, what is that,
your makeup?
No, I'm thinking of a film where he's talking of the sled, and he had the name of the sled. It was this thing he remembered from his child. I'm getting off topic. You know,
who does that?
Reminiscing and just going back into the vault of our childhood. It's been pretty rewarding, but also, like, you know, we got to find these characters. And everybody kind of went their own way, and it's like, you know, mapping them out and scheduling them. When can you come? When can we talk? Because, you know, there's a discussion that needs to happen, because we got to discuss all these things that happen. But I think one thing I've always remember about you is, like, you do sort of have many talents, and you do many things, but like softball and you know, even doing the pageant route, like, you know, you've gone many places.
Yeah.
But, like, I guess
forgot about that.
I don't know, like you're talking about, like, school, but, like, just recent, I don't know if we still want to talk about school, but, like, I had a couple questions about, because you just recently graduated.
Yeah, well, that was the next part, was what kind of student you were. But yeah, go for it.
We can talk more about high school if we want, but, like, I think we all sort of, like, left high school with these big dreams, and you know, just recently, or not recent, it feels recent, but just the way time's been moving lately, you know, I wanted to ask you about, you know, completing your degree, but also, like, I guess, was there any kind of, like, not like disappointments, but more like, oh, I thought it was going to be different, or things that changed, that, I guess, how have things been since you've kind of, like, put an end to that chapter of your education?
First of all, what was it?
What was it?
Yeah, so I, at the time before I even started school, I feel like I had to go all the way back. So
go ahead.
In high school, I've always been very goal-oriented. I always knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a doctor. Then I was like, okay, well, what kind of doctor? Oh, I want to be a surgeon. What kind of surgeon? I want to be a general surgeon. So my whole dream leaving high school is that I was going to go to school so that I can go to medical school. So I left here at 18 years old, got my first apartment, went to community college, and I think that was the first time I've ever been on my own with money, with dreams, you know, like, and all at one time, and it just was this very overwhelming feeling. And I realized I wasn't ready. I failed very, very badly. I probably only passed one class my first semester at Pima Community College at that. And I tried to push myself. At the same time, I had so many distractions. Like, I just got my thou. I had my money from Miss Indian Arizona, Miss Donna Out the Nation, and my thou all at one time. And I had my first apartment, my first car. Like, shoot, I was living the dream. But there were so many distractions that I just didn't stay focused in school. And I really tried. I failed the very basic math class like 4 times before I finally passed it. But at that time, it was just so much money that I had put into my education, and losing scholarships and all these different opportunities, that I just felt like a failure. And I didn't want to do it anymore, and I couldn't do it anymore because I didn't have no more money. So I ended up coming home, and that was it for me. That was the end of my education. I was like, it's not for me. I came home, and I started working for about 7 years. I think it was like 7 years until I finally decided, like, all right, I'm going to try school again. Because, you know, my mom especially, she had always been on me, like, you need to go back to school. And I want to give a shout out to Ms. Veronica Geronimo. every time I seen Veronica, she was always asking, when are you going to school? We need doctors, we need lawyers, we need this and that. And it didn't matter. Me walking into a building and she's coming out, she'll always be on me about it. And so, like, you know, I was always afraid to see her too because I knew what she was going to say to me. And so I feel like she was the one person who always believed, like, to just keep pushing me, her and my mom.
Good.
And so I finally decided to go take classes at TOCC in 2016 maybe. And at the time I had a full-time job, and they had worked with me the first year, and then my last year they were like, okay, I had to make the decision if I wanted to continue working full-time or just focus on school as a full-time student. So I decided to leave my full-time job and just figure out what my life was going to be now as a full-time student, not having a job and figuring out how to support myself. And I had a small family at the time, and I really walked away from a lot of things, and I moved into the dorm there at TOCC, and I was an older student too, so that was a whole nother story. But I did it. I finished it out, and I graduated from TOCC in 2018.
What did you have at that point? Was it an associate?
Yes, it was an associate.
And what?
I think it was, I don't even remember. It was like general studies with the emphasis on Thanatham studies. Something like that.
Okay.
Don't even remember what it was. But basically, I didn't really have a focus other than the Thanatham studies. But I knew, like, it was just going to help me to transfer to the next step. Didn't even know what that was going to be. Very last minute, decided to go to ASU, which was very different. I've always been a Wildcat. I was born a Wildcat. Literally born in a room called the Wildcat Room at St. Joseph's Hospital.
Cool. I was born in St. Joseph's too.
Yeah. So this was totally different for me. The first person in my family, like immediate family, to ever be a Sun Devil, I guess. So it was so weird. But it was because of going to the school and meeting the program, the American Indian Studies program, and some of the professors there, and just the programs they had, where I just felt like this was the right place for me. And so I went, and I don't regret it. I really don't. I love it there. And so I graduated in May with the bachelor's in American Indian Studies.
Nice. I didn't know that. AIS?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Wonderful. How long did that take, you think, from starting education to then?
Oh, my gosh. I graduated high school in 2007, and that's when I went on to Pima Community College for about a year and a half. Then that's when I said I dropped out, and it took me maybe 7 years until I went back in 2016 and finished from there.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice. Proud of you. Really.
Yes, thank you. I didn't ever believe I could do it because I just felt like so much of a failure. And the biggest thing for me was being older and being an adult and figuring out how I was even going to pay for it. Like, how do you even make the step to want to go back to school, and how are you going to pay for it?
Yeah.
And the community's so lucky right now because TOCC is free now. Like, you can go for free. Yeah. And back in, just a couple years ago, I had to pay for that.
Dang. Cool. Were you paying when you went?
Yeah.
There? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Then we gotta get in. We gotta take advantage.
Yes.
People who are listening, if you're listening, go to school.
Yeah.
give it another go. She did, and she got it. She made it. I had heard that. I did the same thing. I burned out like right away. I think I did really well, kinda the first semester. Next semester it was a little worse, and then finally I think I had to leave on the third semester. And what it was just all these, again, distractions. Like, you're thrown into adulthood like right out of high school. You got that. I had scholarship money from the tribe, and I blew it. I freaking blew it. Like, I ruined it. I partied a lot. I didn't go to class. I was just like, I started getting these bad grades. I wasn't doing the work. I just didn't do it. And I think that's going to happen to anybody. Like, some people are excellent and will always excel, but it's culture shock. It's just like, oh, I'm an adult now. Got my own money, got my own place. Come on over to my place, guys. And it gets out of hand quick. And I think when my boy gets to that age, I'm going to tell him, don't go. Like, wait, get your wild oats out. You know, go get a job and work for like a year and work that out. Get your partying out of your system and then go to school, because when I went back later, like way later, I did so much better. I got straight A's, and it was because like I had already gotten that crap out of my system. I was like, all right, I could focus now. I started going to the library on my own. You know, I started doing study groups. So it was like, I think it's a very good idea for our kids not to just go to school, but to, you know, find something first, something that'll either break them down or just, you know. You kind of got to make mistakes. Like, those mistakes are still very important. But you don't want to do it with scholarship money. You know, you're going to wait and come back when you're ready and take that money and do well. Right. That's the whole point, is if you're going to go there, if you get educated, you can go to school, focus, and do it. Do the work. Cause, I just crashed and burned right away my first... I think I made it a year, and then tried to go the third one and just blew it. Like, I had D's, F's, just blew it. And like, the hard thing to do is to come back here and face people and go, oh, this is what happened.
Exactly.
I blew it. It's real hard to carry that. Like, hard. So I just don't want that for my boy. Like, I want him to make mistakes. I know he's going to. I'm going to kind of push him into that, but like, I'm going to tell him, wait, like, don't go to school yet. Like, go to school, but not yet. Maybe military, you know, you don't want to go to war and then be on a ship, whatever you got to do. I mean, they'll go too, but I'm saying, I think that's the route I should have gone, because everybody I know that comes out of it, or they don't even come out of it. Some of them, this is their lifetime job now. Like our cousin Serena, you know her, you know, she's been in there. She's doing really well, really well. She got like I think it was Navy of the Year, whatever it was. She's doing well, and everybody who does, they get that discipline, and then when they come back, they go get their degree, and it happens. It just works, because now they're they've been trained to be adulted, you know. So it happens. It happened to me. Like, it was real hard to come home and face the family. Like, you know, I had to pay the scholarship back. Like, it's like, this money that I don't have now, I'm screwed. So I think it's really important to go through all that. I want to know, because I know you did it. I can't even remember what it was, but you're going to tell us. You did programs, didn't you? Didn't you do like some sort of summer program that sent you to DC, or what are the extra stuff that you've done?
I didn't do that, but I've always been involved with the different youth councils, like in our district youth council, Chickacook, and then the nation's youth council. I was freaking going to youth council meetings at like 11 years old, just because there was something to do, and because the council members at the time I thought were cool people, and I just wanted to be in that environment. And so I would just always been involved in community things. And then that's really what opened the door up to travel and to have other experiences outside of the nation. But I never did like the DC internships and all of that.
Which one? You did do something.
The Dr. Whitty program.
Oh, you did that too?
I did.
Cool.
I did. The Summer Institute on Medical Ignorance. I did that my junior year in high school.
Sorry, I was talking over it. Say it again, what it is. The
Summer Institute on Medical Ignorance. That was, it was once we were in high school. So I was a junior in high school, and it was maybe a little over a month at U of A.
You lived in the dorms?
Yeah, I lived in the dorm there. La Paz.
Yeah. Older ones, isn't it? The older dorms? Or is that the new ones?
I think ours was a newer one.
By the stadium?
It was right under the stadium.
Okay. I've been there. That's a nice one.
Yeah, that was really fun, and made some really good close friends.
You still check in with Dr. Whitty?
I haven't. No.
She's there waiting for you.
Wow.
She wants to hear it. She opened it up to college students too.
Oh, cool.
So that's how I went back, and because I was at the U of A and got to see her again. She's getting old, man. She's getting old. She's getting up there. Still doing her job. Still amazing. Still like totally willing to give kids a chance. You know, she gave me a chance. And I might have blown it, but it was like I might have burned that bridge. I don't know, but like I still feel like reaching out to her because I owe her a lot. Like, she sent me to DC and all that. Like,
sweet.
And it was just on a whim. She's like, "You want to go to DC?" I was like, "Sure." She's like, "I got these kids I'm sending to check out a hospital, the NIH, the National Institutes of Health," and I didn't even know what the hell that was. I was like, "What's that?" She's like, "Well, you'll find out. Like, go." She's like, "I'm sending I think she said I'm sending 3 kids, and if you want to go, you can." And I was like, fuck it, I'm going. I'll go. And then when we went, I had no intentions of doing it, but like after meeting with a couple of the people, I was like, fuck yeah. I told my friends, I was like, I'm coming back, and I did. What was it then? You were in if you didn't do that, you were in some kind of other program, because I remember, I think it was in the Runner or something, where you're standing there and you were done. I don't know if it was, I just made a shade if you guys didn't see that, but, you know, you puffed your chest out and you're just like, I did it. Like, it was like, I think it had to do with the courts.
Yeah.
Lawyering up. What was that?
So while I was at TOCC, an internship opened up at the Attorney General's office, and it was the first ever internship with the Thanaat Nation Attorney General's office.
Sweet, nice.
And I applied the day before it was due and got selected.
Sweet.
And I think that really set me off, and like that's what I want to do now. I'm planning to apply to law school this year.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was a really good experience. I met some really good people. One of my biggest inspirations and motivators is Mr. Fred Urbina. He's at the time he was I guess AG assistant there at our office, and now he's the Attorney General for Pasquayaki Tribe.
Cool.
And he's just always on my case too, just like Veronica, you know, always reminding me, when are you going to law school? I need you right now. You know, always keeping me up to date with things that are happening in Native country, different issues and things to think about. You know, he really pushed me to something. I guess I realize is I've always seen things from an angry community member standpoint, and he really pulled me back to think like, okay, you know, your concerns and your opinions are valid, but let's look at the bigger picture and also understand what the opposite side of that is, like where can we meet in the middle. So that's how I think now. I'm a big picture person, and he really set that I guess that vision for me during that time.
We need people like that, like role models to kind of take you under their wing. I'm really glad you had that. Well, you do, right? Like, still in contact with them?
Yes.
Good.
I think that's like one of the things that they don't really promote. Well, not to say they don't promote, but it's kind of hard to say where, like, we do need mentors. We do need some. Even if you're at that point where you can mentee somebody, you kind of gotta pull somebody up. So I think maybe we don't talk about that enough to where, you know, who is your mentor? Like, who are the people you go for advice? Because we all come to those points where I need to talk to somebody about this, because we're all kind of treading on new ground. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm real proud of you. That was my next question, was what's your next step? Was you got to be thinking about it, like just putting your mind in that zone. When did you say you were going to start it?
So I'm planning to apply the end of this year, and I wouldn't start until, if I got accepted, it wouldn't start until next year.
What is it?
To law school. I want to stay at the Sandra Day O'Connor Law School at ASU.
Also, you're going back to ASU.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
I still live in Tempe now, so I'm still in the area.
All right.
But I hope to stay there. I have a feeling I could also get into U of A, which is, I mean, I'd be open to that too. But I've already had connections at ASU's law school, and those are relationships that I want to build on and experience I want to have there.
It's a good idea. You should do it.
They got a hold on you, huh?
Yeah. They do. No, I participated in one of their like bridge programs, the pipeline to law school program there.
Cool.
And so after participating, they will pay for my test to get in, and then also we just have that connection.
Wow.
So
good call.
Yeah.
Good
so
call.
I haven't officially taken it just yet, but I still have the scholarship there to have it paid for.
That was my question. I wasn't sure if you were comfortable with me saying how are you going to pay for it.
Oh my gosh, I
bet it's expensive.
Yeah.
Just for the test?
Yeah, it's like $1,500 just to take the test. The classes and the test. Yeah.
Is that the bar you're saying, or just to get in? Like
no. Why can't I think of it?
Acceptance into the program?
No. Why am I drawing a blank?
Application fee?
It's not the GRE, but you could do the GRE actually. Some of the law schools do accept GRE.
LLC?
LSAT. Oh my gosh, why did I forget that?
I was wondering, okay.
Yeah, the LSAT.
Oh, LSAT.
Yeah.
What does that stand for?
I don't know what
Yeah, so I still have that opportunity. I did take a summer class, the summer LSAT class, and that was the biggest mistake ever because it was like a 6-week program and everything was crammed into one, and I thought, oh, I could do this, take care of it during the summer. Hell no. Hell no.
You can't have a life if you do that. Like, you gotta be like devout. Like,
I think I looked into something like that, and I turned away. I was like, damn, that's a lot that they're gonna try to cram in that short period.
Yeah.
I was like, screw that. Like, I wish I turned away. Like, no.
Yeah. When I was at ASU, one of my classes, we didn't know that it was a competition with like projects we had to come up with. And so one of them was, if you won, you would get a free admission into a class for the LSAT or for any other graduate school testing you had to do. So I did a project called, a lot of my undergrad was about restorative justice, so just looking at our court system. Something I would like to see is adding more of our own traditional values and just physical things into our courts and into our our jails here. And so I presented on that, and I ended up winning. I had no idea, and so with that was a free admission into the testing, to the classes, and to a test. So I did, but I made the wrong decision because I decided to do the summer course, and it didn't happen. It just wasn't for me.
Man.
I know.
So you had the option of doing it during the fall.
Yeah, you could do it as a real class or the summer class, and I shouldn't have done that. But I still have one more opportunity to get it paid for.
Nice. Okay. Good. I'm sure the tribe and the community will try to back you on that. Like, even if you just ask, like, I
really wish they would. Pasquayaki, they will pay for your LSAT testing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The tribe pays for it if that's what you want to do, but that's not something we have here.
Wow.
Maybe One Stop. I think One Stop might do it.
Yeah.
Check it out. Like, you don't gotta struggle on your own. Like, especially if you're doing it. You got your associates and a bachelor's, and just put that out there. Like, hey, I'm serious about this. Take me serious, and please pay it. And I'm sure somebody, tickle good, maybe, I don't know, like somebody should back you on this. And I'm not even just saying that because I know you, but it's like I could see the smile on your face, and you believe it. Like, it's like you're gonna go, and I'm sure you can find somebody to pay for it. Like, you shouldn't have to do that all on your own. I think you can find somebody. Right. And if you need help looking, I'll help look, because this is important.
Dope.
And like those people said too, like they need you. And if you've got somebody saying that to you, then more power to you. Do it. Yeah. And they'll hire you. You'll be working here. Like, I would like to see our people in our jobs. Like, I want to see all our jobs supported and taken care of by our own people. That's a huge thing. Yeah. And more power to you. I hope you go and do it. Like, just keep going.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. That's cool.
Thank you.
Like, like you were saying about the court system and all that, like I think a lot of the stuff they do, they kind of map it, or they mirror image the United States court systems and their laws. And I'd kind of like to see us lean a little get a little bit away from that, and kind of go, we're our own. We have sovereignty. We're our own people. We have our own system. We should be leaning more towards not fixing the laws, but like making them make sense for us.
Right.
And I think you can play a part in that.
Yes.
Just do your time, do your work. Do your homework.
Yeah.
Do your homework. Like, damn, do your homework.
Yeah. The vision I wanted to see was, like I said, restorative justice, and basically like having almost like a family court, or just like an option before you actually go into trial, or go into like the actual court, where the two people come together, you try to hash it out somehow, come to an agreement, just like we would traditionally. Like there should be that option beforehand. And then from there, like, you know, whatever happens, then the next step would be this and that. The other thing is, with my mentor, we always talk about, if you're going to call yourself a tribal court, then you better be teaching something about the tribe, where culture better be incorporated into the court system. So something I would like to see is a bench book that is based on different things from our traditional stories. And I always think about the story with Holocaust, like, you know, the lady who took the kids and eating the kids. Like, when we hear Holocaust, we automatically think of this witch and this being. But when you think about the story and you hear the story, people were mean to her. You know, she was this being that was created because of the negative things that people were saying about her, or the way they treated her, and she took that in and she became this thing. And
that's an interesting take.
And so I think about that with people, like, you know, if you're going to be negative towards somebody, those are the things you're building inside someone. And so, like, I mean, just different things that you could take away from our stories. Like, a judge should be able to share those things and make those correlations within the courtroom, because we're doing that business here. We're a court here.
Very nice. I like that.
So that's another thing I would like to see. And then even just like growing food inside the jails or whatever, like, teaches you about how to care for yourself. Once you plant a seed, like, what do you need? You need water, you need sunlight, you need song, you need somebody to talk to you, and it's just the same way as you growing as a person, or your kid. You know, in my studies too, like, thinking about a lot of the males that are in our jails and prisons, like, those are the males that are supposed to be the leaders in our community too. And so a lot of kids aren't growing up with that and don't know that. And so just making those connections, and even after, like, how are we supporting our people when they get out of jail and out of prison?
I was going to ask you if you know about any of that, if there's programs open to our people when they come out, like, to help them get hired, or you know, just progressively keeping their I guess keeping their hands clean, I guess, or whatever, like, just refocusing them to be successful. And I was wondering if you knew about any programs like that.
Not enough, I don't think. And that's the same thing I want to see. Like, even, you know, when we think about all these programs on the nation, we're all serving the same families. The same family that's in the court is the same family that's going to behavioral health. It's the same family that's going to the hospital. It's the same, you know, like, all these different programs, and none of these programs are actually working together. We're all just doing our own thing. But imagine how much more resourceful and powerful and healing we could bring to our community if we all just figured out a way to be this strong wheel of support for everybody, instead of them having these very separate things. And those are just those are a lot of the things I thought about in my undergrad at UC.
That's big. It's huge. I like that. I was like, the thing you said about what people start to instill when they get treated a certain way. A buddy of mine, I'm not going to say his name, but one day we were sitting on the side of a wash and we're drinking a 40. You know, we're getting all fucked up, and he's like, we were talking, and it got real serious, and he's like, you know, we were talking about everybody like getting mad at him and the family, and at some point he's just like, you know, I've been called a piece of shit my whole life, and now I don't know anything else. He's like, I'm gonna grow up a piece of shit. I am a piece of shit. He started believing it. You know, he started going, okay, well, if they think I'm a piece of shit and that's all they ever expect from me, then I might as well just be a piece of shit. And I was just like, fuck, bro, like, it hurt. I'm getting choked up right now thinking about it, because it's like, you're very right. And I never would have thought of how Gox like that, but you are, and I like that you're thinking that way, because we need more people like that, like just people trying to empower our own people, getting them, you know, pulling them out of the gutter, you know, picking them up, cleaning them up, giving them something to do, because without that, without purpose or meaning, they're screwed, you know. He's gonna lay in that ditch and just drink his 40, and that'll be his life, and I don't want that for him. I told him, man, it's not true. I fucking love you. Like, you don't, you're not that. Yeah. I'm getting choked up. But anyway, you hit it on the head. You definitely touched on a major problem that's going on here on the res, like, and you see it. You know, you see it. I'm sure I'm part of it. I was drinking, you know, but like, but I got a purpose. This is my purpose. This is what I'm doing. And as long as I got that, then I'm gonna be okay. I'll be all right. Yeah. But you know, many of my friends, I've either lost them or they've kind of disappeared into the reservation, and they're kind of huddled in their houses, and they're doing God knows what, you know. But it's like, I worry about them and I think about them, and I like the idea that you're going to be out there, you're going to come back, like that's the thing, come back. Like, I think we bring this up on the podcast a lot, is that when you do go to school and you come back and you want that job, they're not always available. We don't even hire our own people. Like, we were talking with CJ, and she's like, I became certified, then I came here to work at the hospital, and they didn't hire her. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck is going on with our system, and why is it so out of whack that we wouldn't want our own to be taking care of our own? Like, it's like, it's ass backwards. So I'm just really glad that you're out there in the world and you're going to come back. Like, that's the thing. Like, the people that do leave here and they go get educated, they're forced to stay out there. And we need them here. Like, we do need them here to fill our jobs and take over our positions. And like, I think we say it too about adulting. Like, we're the adults now. It's on us to take care of the tribe. And without people like you, without people like Sky's in behavioral health, we're going to crash and burn. If we're not focused on our people, if we're not going to take care of them, then we're just left to rot. We're going to be rotting in from the inside out, you know, if we don't take care of it. So I like that you got your mind on the prize, the big picture, like you said. So again, I'm proud of you. This is good stuff.
Thank you. That's one of the discussions that we had too, like at the end of my education there at ASU, is one of our instructors was like, okay, we all have the same vision. And I think that was what was so cool too, is being in those environments with other Native students. When you look at other students in universities, they're all there because they want to build a business, or, you know, it's something like that's personal to them, and it's mostly benefiting them. But when you look at the Native population, a lot of them is, well, I'm here because I'm going home to do this. It's not about you. A little bit is, but it's about what I'm going to do for the tribe or for the people. It's more than just what I want for me. And I always thought that was really powerful. But one of our instructors was like, okay, we all have that same vision, but we also all need to be ready for going back home, and they're not going to be ready for us. So what are you going to do next? And that scares the hell out of me, because my heart is here, my people, my family. This is what I want to do. But in reality, what's going to happen when I'm ready to come back and you're not ready for me? What's going to be my next step?
I'm going to be so pissed if they screw this up. Like, God damn it. There's so much I want to do and take care of for the tribe, but it's like, fuck, I feel so powerless because they already kind of have this system in place, and people are, maybe, I'm not saying they're all bad, but there's something, it's broken. It's kind of broken, and I like that you're focused and aware that the whole situation with the males, they're going away, you know, and then they come out. Maybe they're thinking, well, maybe I am a piece of shit, you know, and then that just snowballs. It just gets bigger and bigger, and we need something in place for them, for everybody. So I like that you're doing it. I like what you're doing. It's really important.
Yes.
So focus, you know, stay on it, and you're gonna do it. I believe in you. All right, you're gonna do it, and I'm really glad you got these people. You know, you're surrounding yourself with powerful people that are saying, "Hey, we want you. Come on, do it. Go to school, and do your damn homework. You know, do it, and you'll do it. You'll be successful." And I can't wait to see you on the other side of the next journey you're starting now. But I can't wait. Like, keep us up to date on what you're doing.
Yeah.
And we'll pray for you. You know, whatever we gotta do to make sure you pull it off.
Yeah.
Just eye on the prize, bigger picture. You already know. But I'm proud of you.
Thank
man,
you.
do it. It all sounds good.
Thank you. I've always said that I'm a product of my own community, and I wouldn't be where I am today or have had any of the experiences, good or bad, without just having that support of community. It's such a valuable and powerful thing. You know, people that don't even know me will come up and tell me how they know me and that they support me, and like those are the things that keep me going. Definitely my family, mentors. I've always been, like I said, involved in something since I was young, which means that I've always been introduced to new people, and the elders around here are my really good friends. Like, you know, it's not just, I've never kept within my own circle of friends. I consider a lot of people who are older than me, like, you know, just valuing that time and knowledge with so many different people and different circles. That's what's kept me. And, you know, last night me and Sky were talking about, well, who would you be if you didn't do this?
Yeah.
And didn't do that. And I'm like, dang, you know, I always think about that. I probably would have been a gangster. I think about,
like, an awesome gangster.
I grew up on Tapala Road. Shout out to Tapala Road. Woo. So many different people grew up on Tapala Road. And, you know, there were the Bloods, the Crips, the Brown Pride, you know, all these different groups of people. And Sky was like, well, what were you? And I was like, hey, you know what? I am lucky to have been accepted by all of them. Some of the Bloods were my really good friends. The Crips were my really good friends. The Brown Pride was my family. Like, you know, nobody ever expected me to make a choice. But they've always been protectors. I feel like those people have always, I just know that they're in my corner. And
that's cool.
And so, like, yeah, I always think about that. And I was telling him that, you know, one time I picked up this girl on the side of the road and gave her a ride to Paula, and she was like, you know, I'm really proud of you. Like, I know you're out there, you're doing this and that. And I was telling this guy, she actually stole my clothes off of the clothesline one time. And, you know, their family were little badasses, and we were hanging out at the basketball court, and she had my anchor blue jeans on and this really cool shirt, and I was like, should I say something? Should I not? And I was like, hey, that's my shirt. And she just like stopped. She was like, no, it isn't. And I'm like, all right. Cool. So then I was like, I don't know. Do I keep hanging out with these people? Do I not? So I just always had that, you know, thing in the back of my mind. But anyway, so I picked her up one time, and she was just like, I'm really proud of you for not going this route like the rest of us. She's like, you know, a lot of us are dead. We're in prison. Like, you know, all these young kids that we grew up with, I don't know where they're at. And she's like, but I'm really proud that you decided to do this. And I'm just like, wow, thank you. Like, I remember I have those same memories too, but yeah, I was telling Sky, like, I've always felt like I've been accepted in all these different circles, and they've just always been really supportive of me, even to this day.
Yeah, the life that would never be too bad.
Exactly.
You'll be a real good gangster. You'll be the best gangster.
You will be the game.
Become the Don, become the head gangster.
You will get all the gangs to unite.
The flags are tied together.
Wow.
Revolution. Like, so, not to take us off topic, but like, you want to be involved in law. So, are there any like sitcoms or like films that like kind of feel the fire of you wanting to be in the law?
Good question.
Any good films that like, oh man, I can see myself doing that, or a law show or anything?
Like what triggered it?
No, because it's very different when you think about tribal law, and I guess my passion for it is so much different than what you would see on TV. A lot of that is like, I don't know, different cases, I guess, but my passion comes from my community, like growing up in Newfield and with the border just right there, like there's not enough, there's almost no laws at all that exist that actually protect the nation. But there are a number of laws that protect the Border Patrol, that protect the government, like, but there's nothing really in place that protects us as a people.
Wow.
And so, again, just thinking of that big picture and really drawing in, like, well, what kind of laws do we need to have as a people? So that's what, it's just so much more different than what you see on TV. Yeah, so I love, I can't think of I love some shows, but I don't really get inspiration from that. The only thing I see is like the very powerful woman and going into the room and already having, your shit together and emotionless, like all of that. I guess those are things that I'm like, okay, I need to have that too.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, like the value and the passion is just so much more different than what you see on TV.
Wow. Cool. I'm glad that you're aware of that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
What was I gonna say? The first time I got in trouble with the law, I was with a gun and I was drinking, and we were shooting in the village, which was a big no-no. And some of my neighbors came over and started fighting me and my friend. It was me and him that were drinking, and started fighting him. And they didn't come after me. I don't think it was because I was holding the gun, but they went after him. And they all broke up, whatever. And then the cops were coming. I went running. Like, we all just ditched it. We started running, and they were searching for us. There's a helicopter. There's all these people involved. They were tracking me on foot on quads and all that. And when I kind of turned myself in. Like, I did this big, huge loop. I went back to my house, and my dad's all outside, pissed off. Like, he was raking the yard, but not really raking anything. He was just trying to do something with his hands, I guess. He was all mad. He's like, they were looking for you. My dad voice. Hey, they were looking for you. And I was just like, fuck, I know. I was like, where's Mom? She's like, she's inside. She's mad. I was just like, yeah, I know. Like, God. And I remember when they came, they were rough. Like, I earned it. They're all out there. It was Border Patrol and like narcs, and they came and they roughed me up a little bit. Like, they got me in the cuffs and they're like, sit down. I was like, make me sit down. So they fucking threw my ass in the dirt. Had me dead to rights. And I was being all combative. I didn't like them. I was insulted that they're even here. Like, I fucking hate you guys. And they knew it. And they treated me like shit. They're, like I said, they roughed me up, and I had it coming. Little attitude, gave them attitude. The whole time I was just attitude. But I'll tell you, when the tribal police came, I felt safe. It was like once they got there, like, oh, I'll be all right. And then I just started. I stopped being an asshole. I started talking. And once they got there, I felt safe. So I got in their car. I got away from them, the Border Patrol, the narcs, all that. And I was like, man. I started participating, so I'm like, what I'm saying is, it felt good to have our own come take care of me. And from there on, I just participated. I went to jail. That was my very first time ever getting in trouble like that, but it was like, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll never forget it. I had a helicopter looking for me, you know, like circling overhead, and I'm like laying in a wash, like, oh, they can't get me, you know, like they're not gonna find me. But I guess they were tracking me the whole way, and they did this big circle. They pulled up, and they're like, yeah, those are his shoes, and I was like, they got me. But like, I hated them. I hated that they were even involved, that they were there. I just hate that they were there. Like, like you guys don't even belong here. You're visitors, and you're doing this, like, it was gross. So when you're saying you want laws to protect us, like, I go to that in my mind. Like, man, I felt safer once the tribal police got there. It was like, okay, you got me, let's go, I'm down. Like, I turned myself in. Like, when they were still looking for me, and I came out where the helicopter could see me, I was like, here I am, and they flew over, they're hovering, and all these guys and narcos came up, the trucks came pulling up, they all surrounded me, and I was just like, all right, guys. But, like, you know, it was with a gun, so they were worried, you know, they were nervous, you know, they wanted to get me, and I had stashed the gun, and they found it and all that. They're like, this is your gun? I'm like, yeah, it's my gun. And they took it, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is that I felt safe once the tribal police came. And I think I think it was a TO guy too, which was really nice. Like, they're not all TOs, you know. I wish they were all TOs. So it was like, so I don't know, that's where my mind is, where you're talking about creating this justice that's been fashioned for us, tailored to us and who we are and our beliefs. I really like that. So I'm glad you got your eye on the ball, that you're focused in that direction, and I hope that not only are you not the only one, but that you do something with it and you make some change around here. Like, it's a good focus, it's a good idea, and I support it fully. Like, with my own experience, like, it was a bad experience, but it's me. It's part of who I am now, and it's like I'll try and stay out of trouble. Like, I've been in jail, you know, I've been in trouble, and I've been through that system, our system, and I've even been in that jail. So it's like, to know and have knowledge of that. I always wondered, you know, what we have in place for our people, and now I know firsthand. You know, and again, like you said, this whole work it out pre-trial, that would have been fantastic for me. I mean, I wasn't just, yes, I messed up, yes, I broke the law, but it was like, I think what we ended up doing, which may have been good for our thing, was they made me a deal. They're like, look, you're in school, get good grades, and relinquish your gun, and we'll call it squaresies. And I was like, and I did. I wish I didn't relinquish the gun, because it turns out it was a bit of a family heirloom, like, passed between my uncles, and I didn't know that. So I kind of feel bad about that. I always think about that later, but it was like, damn, like my uncle who passed away, he owned it. Like, he got it from my other uncle, and now he passed away just recently, Uncle Louis. So it was like, man, like, I miss having that, but it was like, at the time, first time I was in trouble, you know, I was like, oh, I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to stay in jail. I went to jail that night, and I got out the next day in court, but there was always, they kind of kept it over my head until I got the grades, and they said, get good grades, relinquish this damn gun, and we'll call it squares. So I got out of it that time, and I'm glad I did. Really glad that they were at least worked with me like that. They didn't just, you know, throw the book at me. So it worked out. So I'm sharing a lot here. We're going all on me now, but I'm saying, I like where your head's at. I like where your head's at and focused. I like it.
Yeah, it's such a touchy and, like, such a weird subject when it comes to, like, law enforcement, and I'm not really good with authority too. You know, the first couple of times I've ever got stopped, like, I automatically am just, like, put on this front, and I'm just like, what do you want? Hurry up, you know, get it over with, and just completely close off, and then that turns them off, and then it's just like, luckily I haven't been, you know, stopped in a while, but, like, I get it, and it's just, but you're right, like, you know, my brother just recently became a Thanaatan police officer.
Cool, good.
And even that was, you know, I love him, I support him, But even that was like...
See him in the uniform?
And it definitely changed my perspective too.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a lot of fucked up shit that's happening all over the world when it comes to those types of... that type of system and, you know, authority and all of that. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And there's people who are so strong about it. Fuck the police, da-da-da.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, when it's our people, like, that's the most thing that I'm proud of is, like, my brother, my young brother, had a vision, had a goal, went through it, and this is what he is now, and I'm going to support him. He's a community member. He has those ties to young people in the community, to, you know, people, some people know who he is. Like, I'm proud he's doing that as a community member. And not someone from the outside coming in. And but then that also like brings up all these other things, like, man, like, it's scary. It was hard for me to sleep at night knowing that he's out at night. Like, just all these other different things that I never really thought about. Like, it's just it's so messy, but yeah, it's crazy. But I get it too. And like I said, I have those same weird feelings and fears too when it comes to those things, but it's so much different now too that I know my brother's out there.
Yeah, I was also on our wildland firefighting team, and almost at the time we had a few captains that were TO, but at the time almost the majority of the firefighters that we had were for outsiders, and that they were here protecting us, but it still just kind of ticked me off a little bit that we didn't have our own people filling these positions, and so, and even then I had no reason to be mad about that. You know, it's like, hey, they're here protecting us, they're doing the job that we need. The job needs to be filled, and they showed up to do it. So I was happy about it, but at the same time, it bothers me, and maybe something I'd like to see is a program to get, you know, bring us out, get these guys trained. Like, there's people that have those, you know, they got the strong working back. You know, they know how to do hard jobs because they grew up here. Get them hired, train them, put them to work. You know, like, they can still drink a 40 on the weekend or whatever, but like, put them to work. Exactly. Like, everybody needs that job, that something to do, the thing to stay alive, something to wake up for, and. Yeah, it's tough to hear and consider. I just like that your mind's there and you're thinking that. And big picture, like, not everybody sees it that way. Not everybody's like, oh, this isn't just about me. It's about the community. It's about the nation. It's about the U.S. interacting with the nation. You know, and I like where your mind's at. Good. Stay on it. I just looked this guy like, go, take it.
Let's talk about high school. What are some of the things we were talking about last night?
So Cissi brought, I think I left her. Oh no, she had some of the flyers from the show we put on.
Oh yeah.
And
so those came from you then?
Yeah.
That's cool that you got them. It's cool that
Guy hates the name, but that's what it was called, and we all loved it but him.
But she had, were they hanging in your room?
Yeah, I still have a bunch of stuff hanging in my old room.
Cool. Cool.
Nice.
Like what? Like, what do you got in there?
Different pictures and certificates from the years and my concert posters and Skyfest. So it surrounds my whole frame of the door was the little flyers we had. Cool.
Yeah, you were in the band.
Yeah.
I know this about you, but I don't. Like, you know, you get so focused, you start thinking about yourself, and then you lose all this other rounded out stuff. I forgot. You were, what was it, like a bass?
04, 03, maybe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. The bassist.
Yeah, Cissi. Me and Edison were just practicing together, and we were like, we need a band, we need a bass player, and we could never find one that would stay as long, and I think that's how we sort of met Cissi, or like I knew Cissi, but it was just sort of like, and that was one thing that I know about Cissi, and still hasn't changed, but she's dependable. She comes through and gets the job done.
Nice.
And so we were talking about, we don't know how the bass came along, but it was just like, here's the bass, you play with us now, learn the songs. And we actually were practicing South Comlick.
Yeah.
Just across the road where we're at recording now. And yeah, I mean,
cool.
I don't know how many shows we did, but yeah, I mean, that was a good chunk of our time. And even
just for the record on the recording, what was the name of the band?
Disregard May.
Yeah,
Disregard May.
Where'd it come from?
I don't even know if it's on. We used to have songs on MySpace.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think there's still one that you can find. It's connected to MySpace, but it's something's up with the recording, like you can't hear it. But there was one because I would show people.
I remember I was holding on to this scratched up CD with the songs that we did.
Cool.
Because we did record 3 songs, and
nice.
I think we had like 4 songs that we never recorded, but we could play them.
Cool. So I forgot all about that.
I was thinking about it last night. So this is how it all happened. I think I was into guitar at the time. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I was carrying around this guitar, and then Sky saw me one day and was just like, "Hey," started asking me questions about this guitar.
Yeah.
But how I got into that was, you asked me to learn the lyrics to From Autumn to Ashes. You wanted to play a song.
Oh, yeah.
So you gave me these lyrics, and you're like, "Hey, can you learn this? Like, me and Edo want to play it, and you should sing it for us." And I was like, "All right, cool." And so then I learned the song, and we never even recorded it. We never even played it. But at that point, you're just like, "Hey, this is me and Edo. We had this band. You should play bass for us." And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. It's all right. I will show you. Like, we'll teach you.
Nice.
And then it went from there. But that's what it was. You asked me to learn those lyrics, and I came over one day. We were supposed to play, and I don't even remember us even playing it at all.
I
was gonna say, did you guys ever play?
Yeah, I know what song she's talking about, but I think we probably, like, that was the goal, but then I was like, oh yeah, hey, you should play bass instead.
Yeah, and so it's so funny because, like I said, people, have this image of who I am, but then when I talk about, like, I used to play bass in a melodic death metal band on the Res. And, so we were talking about that last night, like, just trying to figure out, how did I even meet you, Sky? Like, how did this even happen? And I asked him, like, why did you believe in me that I was going to be the one to play bass for this band? Like, why? Where? But yeah, like, just it was fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
I'm trying to think of, like, I mean, of course, playing in my backyard, I think that was where we had the most people come. Yeah. But we got to play at the intermediate gym. I remember we played there, and then we played over here in the Ville. At the community center, and when they had a grand opening.
It was so funny. My best friend's from here in South Comlick, and so I would always hang out on the weekends with her, and really got to know her family and her siblings, and they just knew that part of me, that weekend part of me. And so one day, our band was going to come and open up for their grand opening at this community center, and I remember all the kids seeing me, and they were all excited, like, Cissi, and I'm all, like, walking up with the bass and the amp, and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, yeah. So then we start playing, and I just remember, like, the look on their faces, like, what the heck is going on here? It was so funny. My best friend still laughs about it, like, just... Cool. It was crazy.
Melodic death metal band. Disregard Me. I forgot about that. I was looking at you just now going, oh yeah. Like, oh yeah, you're the band. I was trying to make the connection, like, why you got so many flyers? Like, what's going on? It's part of your history. God, I'm glad you came because I'm starting to remember all those extra little things that you did and that you're doing. So, and there's more to you than just the education. You're a rocker. You did become a rock star. Hey, you became a rock star. You wanted to be, you became one.
You can probably just turn it back on tomorrow.
Yeah, you remember in the lyrics? I was wondering if you still knew it. If you could pick up a bass, could you? Could you right now?
No.
You're making this face like, no.
No, I mean, really, I didn't even know what to do. These guys were like, they already had their songs. They're like, oh, you could probably do this. Just listen to it and see, do your thing. And I tried, but a lot of it came from them and just going along with it. Cool. So it was fun. It was different. And I was going through a really dark time, I guess, in my past. Like, my parents had just divorced at that time, so I realized when we were talking last night, like, that was my escape. Like, I had to get out of there, and I would run away to skies, like, for days or the weekends, like, just being there, and him exposing me to, like, different types of music. And
he's always been that.
So that was it was a cool time, but it was really healing, I guess, for me because of the time.
Good.
I think it was just like that moment in time because Edison was older, and then you were younger. And then we're all in different grades. Jonathan and Matt.
Jonathan was younger than me, and then Matt was younger than Jonathan.
So we couldn't, we were still trying to hold it together when Edison left, and then I left, and then it was just sort of like, well, what's going to happen? And we're laughing at the story because we still were, I think we did do a show when we're still all in our own little worlds, but there was this time when we would always talk about it, like, well, how are we going to still do this? Because I think if we kept at it, we probably could have, maybe squeezed out some albums or something, but we didn't.
What's your name on it?
But it was just I think we keep saying this about guitars in our lives. It's like, this is our therapy. So making music was sort of this escape, but we really used it as an escape because we would go to shows and stuff. But one time we went to Tempe as I was getting ready to move out there, and I had an apartment, but I was still working out here, so I would me and Cissi made a trip out there, and I can't remember what I needed to do, and I don't even remember if we went to the campus, but I live right there by the main campus in Tempe, and
I remember.
Still trying to figure out, how are we going to keep this going? Or I want to still keep it going, but it was almost like we didn't realize, we could just let it go and it'll be okay.
I see.
So driving back home, it was late, and I'm throwing out all these suggestions to Cissi about maybe we can practice on the weekends or just really trying to figure it out because it was something we all enjoyed, and even now just some of the best times of practicing in that little house.
I remember.
And just
watching you guys play.
I'm driving on the road, and I'm talking to Cissi, just telling her all these things about what we should be doing. And she was asleep. Cissi, listening to me. But I think that's one thing to kind of understand is, it was cool that we got to record and make those songs in that time, but she was going other places regardless if, we kept working, making music, she had all these other things going on, so it was, I'm glad we got to make the band, and
and I was telling him that I don't remember that part, obviously, I guess, because I was asleep. But I do remember that trip to Tempe, and I was telling him, I'm a first-generation college student, and so
Cool.
that experience was my first time ever like, all right, this is a homie who's going away, who's going to be on his own. He's, you know, this is ASU, and even then, like I said, I was Wildcat, and so like I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to ASU, like
The Sun Devil.
yeah, like that was totally new for me, and like, all right, I still had to support him, like this is cool. But just being in his, like walking into his apartment and knowing that he was going to be away from home, and then the band, like, you know, he was my first, I guess, that first person that I've seen do it. And to know that, all right, like I'm going to do it too someday.
Yeah.
But this is my homie, and so he was that first one, and so I was telling him that last night too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That you guys got that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then I always remember, I think we went back because remember you had bought John from Vehemence his amp or his cab or something.
Wow.
Or you were going to, and that was like freaking exciting for us too. Like.
Forgot that.
That was, I mean, that came out. I'm trying to remember. That was during the time. But yeah, that was like the MySpace era. You know, actually hit up the. Wow, you probably still.
Yeah, they get back to you too. I'm surprised that they're like that. They're outgoing.
Well, it was just randomly like, hey, I got an amp for sale, $600. Whoever wants it, you know, and it would just be a message, and so cool.
And at that time, I was like, what the hell? Like Vehemence, John, the Vehemence, like I have his stuff, you know, that was huge. I remember that. I always remember that.
Dang.
Wow. I was going to say, you guys are going to have to get the band together again, because Skyfest 3 is coming.
Hey.
You're going to have to get the band together. You got to pick that bass back up or whatever.
Go find it.
Find those lyrics. You're going to have to do, what was it, Autumn to Ashes? Is that what you called it?
That was the band name.
Yeah. Oh, it was? It was.
Can't remember the name of that song.
From something tragic, something to something. I have the song still in my library.
Cool, well, get the band back together. Call them all band members, guys, if you're listening.
From short stories to tragic endings, I think is what it's called.
Nice. She remembered.
That's a good.
That's your girl. She's dependable. Let's do this. Skyfest 3.
Yeah, that was awesome. I remember our first, like, when we felt like we were going to make it big, we were supposed to play a show at Scrappy's.
Cool.
And that was huge to us because we were going to Scrappy's for shows, like seeing our favorite bands there, and to know that we were going to be on that same stage. Like,
was that little place in Phoenix or Tempe? Was it?
No, it's right behind or around the corner from the Rialto in downtown Tucson.
Scrappy.
It was the old Scrappy.
I think it's got a different name. I think I saw Shadows Fall there once.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
that was my first time ever seeing Shadows Fall was at Scrappy's.
Yeah, he's the one who introduced Sky's the one that gave me their CD.
Yeah.
I think it was the second album. It wasn't Art of War, it was the Art of Balance, it was something else. Whatever it was, it doesn't matter. I'm saying Sky has always been this like musical influence in my life. Like I think you taught me my first guitar song. You taught me how to do tabs. And once I knew how to do tabs, that's when I could finally start playing my guitar. Like, I think I owned the first one. I bought it with like my last, it was actually connected to Dr. Whitty's thing. My last paycheck from that, I bought a guitar. And then I came home and I was still summer, so I had to wait to go to school, and my guitar was just sitting there, not untouched, because I didn't know what the hell to do with it. But I knew I wanted it, because I got really into this, like, this older man that was a patient at the hospital, and he was this beautiful, like, he would play Mexican music. Like, he was Mexican, and he would, finger pick, and he was a bit of a jokester, so like he was making us laugh, and I loved his music.
Yeah.
So it was like, man, I want that. I knew I wanted it, I just didn't know how. And then Sky, we were hanging out, and he started teaching me. So it was Sky who got me started with the guitar. So it was like, Sky's this guy. Sky's the guy for music in my life. So it was kicked it off. That's cool that we share that with Sky. Like, this is a good little circle here in music. So come Skyfest 3, guys.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, no, Shadows Fall was like my favorite band in high school, and yeah, I think that was one that introduced me to. My favorite album is still the first one of One Blood. My favorite album.
That's what it was. That was the one.
And I think, yeah, you know what? We all were at that same show, and I remember it was the very first time I seen them, and Derek Celaya, cousin.
Yeah, that's cousin.
His dad took me and him, and his dad had this really little pickup, like it was like a Toyota.
I remember.
And it's just a one-seater, and we hopped in there, and he took us.
Wow.
And I remember the ticket to get in was just like a little raffle stub.
Oh yeah,
Wow. And I still have that. I still have it on the wall too. And yeah, we went in, and I saw, we saw them, and it was. I remember it was like Tanner, us, you guys, and just this certain group of people that was like, all right, cool. Now, we were a lot younger than you guys, too. So
it was a while ago. Damn, it was a long time ago. I wish I still had that shirt. I got, like, a concert shirt there, and it was Shadows Fall.
Who else was there? I mean, like, band-wise.
I don't know.
I don't even remember. I remember there was some other team that opened up. Yeah, some other band. They opened. I can't even remember.
They played The Rock, too, did they?
Yeah, I've seen them at The Rock a few times. Shadows Fall is the one band that I've seen maybe over 10 times in my lifetime. I was going to all those shows.
Good.
Then the last time I saw them was in 2012 at the California Metal Fest. That was dope. And they just recently did a reunion tour or show at the end of December 18th, I think. And I really wanted to go.
You didn't go?
I really wanted to, but I couldn't.
I would love to have seen that.
Yeah.
What a band. What a band. What music,
I think the opportunity will come.
Yeah.
It's going to come.
Let's go, man. Let's go. The three of us. That would be fucking cool.
Even my mom, she's all in love with Brian Fair, the singer. She's even seen them a couple of times. She's went with me, and she has a visor that she has hanging up in her bedroom with his autograph. So she'll always talk about Brian, and then also Howard Jones from Killswitch.
Wow.
She loved him too. So yeah.
Killswitch, Engage, I remember seeing a bunch of times.
Yeah, me too.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool that we got this like little history.
Lamb of God, Darkest Hour.
Oh yeah, Darkest Hour.
I think maybe Darkest Hour was with Shadows Fall at that show. I feel
that sounds about right. I feel like I saw it or read it somewhere. Jesus.
That might have been a separate show.
I don't know.
I remember going to Darkest Hour, and then we had a video camera, and we were walking downtown, and we were just recording stuff. And then there was this guy that was playing a violin. And then just out of nowhere, this guy just started busting out flows, and he was it was just the perfect moment, and we were recording it, and I don't know where that camera went. But that was how we used to do. I don't remember if we ever did that or if that's how we showed you, but I used to record on a video camera so that
you could
play it back and then record on the tape. Somehow figure out how to get the two guitars to sound. So it had a video camera, and I remember one time we snuck it into that show. I don't remember. But it wasn't Shadows Fall, because if it was, I would have probably still been holding on to that. But it wasn't. I'm pretty sure it was Darkest Hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shows.
Yes.
I guess thinking back on all your metal years or your concert shows, what is the most metal moment?
Nice. Good question.
In your time.
Metal moment?
Or I don't know, like whatever that means.
I think, let's take it back. I think one of the most craziest still to this day, like show concert experience was seeing Pennywise.
Nice.
And there was these stacks of people were jumping off of these really high beams on the stage. Like, it was just so actually I went with Ronnie. It was me, Ronnie, and Trozo, Jeffrey. His mom took us.
Cool.
And
was that Warped Tour or something?
No, I don't think it was Warped Tour.
It was just Pennywise.
But yeah, it was Pennywise was the main.
Cool.
Anyways, that still to this day was just like the craziest experience I've ever had at a concert. And we were young, and they were younger than me too. Like, yeah, we were all cool. But yeah, but I think my most craziest metal experience, I think it's so different. I think people think that metal shows are crazy, and I always think about Amy. I took her one time to see Cannibal Corpse, and you know Amy, like she was just like, I don't know, what do I do? Do I wear black? Do I buy some boots? Do I get some chains? Like, I'm so scared. Yeah. And she was just like, it was so calm, it was so chill. Like at metal shows, you're just in your moment, you're doing your thing. Like, yeah, there can be a pit or whatever, but it's not crazy. It's not too crazy. And so I think at metal shows, it's just like everybody's in that moment, and you're just doing your own thing. And yeah, so I don't think I've ever really had like a crazy metal show, other than maybe 4 years ago I seen Cannibal Corpse. I think Cannibal Corpse is one of the shows that I always just go to. I don't know. So I hit my head on the person in front of me, and I had glasses on, so then I came out with one of my lenses was popped out, the little cushy thing was missing, and then I had a scratch also in my eye. Oh god. So I think that was it, but it wasn't too intense. But yeah,
that's fucking metal.
That's metal.
Yeah.
Your head banging so hard, your glasses just.
Cool. That sounds pretty metal, yeah. For sure.
Yeah, it's funny, like, you know, on social media, I'll still post, like, things like my favorite songs or whatever to my story, and I have so many different followers that, like, you know, they're not used to that, so it just, like, throws them off, and I don't know, like, I don't know what people think about me, or, I don't know, but, like, that's what I love, like, I still listen, they still hold on to those songs and those bands that brought all of that. Actually, in talking about Shadow Swall, I was listening to an interview that Brian had done, and he talked about, like, inspirations for Shadow Swall, and he talked about Thursday, and, like, how Thursday was an inspiration to them, and I was like, dang, like, Thursday was an inspiration for us, too.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. And so, like, and just to know that, and it just brought it full circle for me, and I was like, yeah.
I don't know what it was about Thursday that it was so, like, was it the time of us just being all like going through our feelings, and these guys were just showing it all easily, but I remember them, and I was surprised. And then again, I think we have that cliche or that stereotype of what a metal is, and it doesn't have to be what we think. But I felt like Thursday at the time they couldn't be that metal flavor, but they still were, you know, they're still like badass.
Yeah. And you introduced me to that too. I remember, I still kind of see the album cover, the picture on the disc. I can't even recall what it was, but it was like kind of grayish blue. With like a building on it or something like that. I can't remember.
I almost had
I see it in my head.
I don't know, like a open space of what do you call that? Like when someone's put in a asylum, I guess.
Okay.
It kind of had an asylum feel.
Oh, okay, maybe.
But I don't know. Yeah, Thursday. I forgot about Thursday being so powerful.
Yeah, no, I mean, like that. I was going through my parents' divorce, and I remember those songs. Like, I remember specific memories of, like, driving with my mom and wanting her to hear the lyric to this song, because that's how I felt. And I don't even know if she was paying attention, but to me, it was just like, listen to this.
Yeah.
Like, those are very deep memories for me.
Yeah, the understanding in the car crash lyrics.
Yes, like, that was the song.
Some of the shit that just stands out in your head, the lyrics on that song.
Yeah.
No, that was heavy. Even still, that song.
I still listen to it.
I gotta go back now.
The album, because that song starts the album, and when we saw them play, they started with that song, and then they end it with that same song as the closing riff. So it was like Yeah, no, Thursday, that Full Collapse album was...
Yes.
It was came at that right time.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's funny how music kind of does that, like when you need it. Like I was talking to my homies the other day. We were kind of going through his playlist. Like he had like this old school like iPod Touch, and like all we could listen to was like I was trying to make a request. He's like, dude, this is a fucking iPod. Like, oh my god, what's on here? You know? I was like, all right. And we started playing, and then like an old Marilyn Manson song came on. It was "Angel with the Scabbed Wings," and it was funny because I couldn't remember what it was. I was like, I know this song. I fucking know this song. Like, what is it? What is it? I kept going, what is it? What is it? Like, don't tell me, don't tell me. And then I just started singing the lyrics. The second he started, I sang the lyrics, and I was like, it's Manson. And I remember growing up in that same house you were in, that backyard, just blasting Marilyn Manson, like as loud as I could, and it was like. It helped me become me. Like it kind of shaped my attitude, my outward image of like all this angst and feeling that I got, and I don't know what to do with it. You know, I'm a young male, just like and to have a music as like to go along with that was huge, like huge, more than I could even admit how powerful. Marilyn Manson, like what his music meant to me. Yeah. And it's that thing, they kind of come along when you need it. And so you can always go back and like remember that and draw on that feeling that it gave you, that power. Like it made me feel powerful. Yeah. To blast that music and just rock his shirts, and I'm just like, and people would see me and they're like, oh, this guy's a rocker because he's got the Manson shirt. He's one of those guys, you know. It felt good. It was like, fuck yeah, hell yeah, had some Manson shirt, you know. But it was like music, powerful stuff. Even today, like to hear that song, I was just like, I was sitting by the fire at night, you know, kind of brewed out. I was just like, like just jamming it and feeling it again. That was beautiful.
When I think of Manson, I think of you and Juan.
Juan's big Manson fan. Nine Inch Nails, like boom.
Tool too. I think.
Juan, if you're out there, man, I miss that. Like
that's when I think of Juan, and when I see Juan, like that's what I see is the high school, middle school Juan.
Did you see that picture?
Get up
on his thing. Did you see the picture where he was like he had his rocker shirt on? And like I think he was in high school. There's a picture of him. Go back and take a look at it. Like it brings back memories because he had like that look on his face, like "fuck you" kind of look. It was like when he was rocking his shirt. I think he even had like a choker on.
Yeah, he always had that choker.
Like I remember that. Yeah, and that's something me and Juan shared. Like I remember like dancing to Manson in his yard, in his living room, where we had like the lights off and the crystal ball spinning and the little colorful lights going, and we felt all bad and dangerous. You know? That was nice, and that's a memory I share like with Juan that I'll never forget. That was great. You know, we thought we were bad. We were taking turns like dancing, like I think it was the Mechanical Animals album, and we were jamming it, like just letting it play. It was so good, and we kept repeating songs. It was good memory. Nice. Music, you know? Yeah. Manson, Juan.
I think it like maybe it was just you saw these, because I get that same feeling from Slipknot where you saw these guys doing all these crazy things, and it was just like you want that sort of to reflect on yourself. Sort of that soundtrack to.
No, it's your mic.
The sound went off, but you should. Yeah, so it's just that soundtrack you need. Yeah. And Slipknot was more of my Manson. But
nice and
fun. I think me too, into the introduction, and it was because of my brother Chris. Like he was into Slipknot, and so he introduced me to it. And I remember I bought my first CD at Walmart. And I remember, I don't think he knew until we got out, and I wanted to have the CD in my hand, so I got it, and he was just like, he was mad because that was his thing. Yeah. So like, little does he know, like he was my inspiration. I guess that. The Slipknot introducing me. It started then. Like I don't even know how old I was. Maybe like 11, 12.
I think it was Chris and Luke.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think who else. It might have been Joey. And they would pass the albums around. It was Rammstein too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad.
It was all about wrestling and Slipknot.
Soulfly too.
Soulfly. Yeah.
I remember Soulfly too.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's funny because a lot of the bands too that I love today, like even Tool and Deftones and Soulfly, I couldn't get into them when I was younger. And you introduced me to them, like you were trying to give me things to listen to. I just couldn't. I don't know what it was. But later on, when I start to get older and I guess appreciate music more in general, like I freaking love Deftones.
Yeah,
and
there's something else. They're their own class of music.
Exactly. Cool. So like some of the music took a while to stick to me too, and then to realize like, I had these albums all this time, but I never even listened to them.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel about Foo Fighters sometimes.
Yeah. I was thinking Foo Fighters when you were saying Deftones. I was like Foo Fighters.
Yeah. Like you sometimes listen to an album and it's not what you expected, so you just put it to the side.
You know what my thing was I love like melodic kind of music and like death metal, and to me it's just like if you really put skill into something. But I knew what I didn't like was like power chords. And like it wasn't heavy enough for me, or it was just the same thing, and so I couldn't get into that type of music.
So you're talking like finger picking and sliding and all that?
To me, I guess that was impressive, or that was like more my style. So I couldn't get into those basic sounds. That was just heavy sound. I couldn't get into it.
I didn't understand what you meant, but yes.
But now, like I love it.
Cool.
I love more of it.
That was a solid music reference. I like that.
Well, I think you can like listen to something over and over and get tired of it, but like sometimes you're not ready for something, then it comes along and you're like, whoa, where were you all my whole life?
Exactly.
I think of this one band now, American Football. Like they came out like around the time I should have figured them out, but I didn't find out about them until like 2015. And it was like, wow, I slept on these guys for so long. But
cool.
Maybe that's just how music is. It's like it finds you when it finds you.
Exactly.
Very cool stuff.
But I don't know. What about music you don't like?
I can't get into house music. And I think to me it's just an energy thing. I have this weird thing about energy. Like it's just too much for me. And I mean, I think I would like to experience one of those cool big concert kind of scenes, like maybe, but I already know I'm going to freak out with all that energy.
What turns you off about it?
It's just the energy. Like, it's just too much. Like, I don't know what to do, or I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't know. So I could say, that house music, I just can't do it. I mean, some things, like the remixes, like, that's cool, but it's just not my thing. Everything else I'm pretty much open to. I grew up with country, like with my dad and my grandpa, and my grandpa like into these old Tejano bands too, and
fiddlers.
And then reggae. Reggae was a big part of my family. I was telling Sky last night that my cousin Amy, she talks about our grandma and how my dad, I guess, was like this one of the first people to really be into reggae, I guess. And we hear these stories that he was a badass skanker, like he had moves.
Nice. I love to see that.
My grandma didn't like it, and so she used to say like that was the devil's music. Reggae was the devil's music.
I love it.
But yet it became this very solid thing in our family. So we grew up with reggae too, and then on my mom's side also, and then
skanker.
I know. I think I tried to bring it up to him one time, and he just was like, "What?" I used to hear about these like legendary raves and like reggae shows that they would have in this and Mall. Like I don't know how true that is, but I remember people talking about things like that.
Cool. I don't know. We need to revive this. Our parents that did this stuff, and then now they're like, they want to stay home or do whatever, but it's on us. We're the adults now. We need to do this stuff. Like that'd be cool. reggae show out in the desert. Like, that'd be badass. Yeah. Especially like the rodeo. Every now and then they'll get like a big name to come out, and it's like, man, we should push for that.
Yeah.
Skyfest 2022.
Yes.
Maybe 2023. Maybe I don't know. It'll come up. It'll happen.
Cross your fingers that it'll be 2020.
Get the band back together.
We were talking about too, like technology and how it's changed from middle school and high school, and even trading music. Like I was telling Sky, I remember he was the second person at Barbecue Free High School to have a cell phone.
Oh wow!
And CJ was the first one. Oh, actually, CJ and Jordan Cook had cell phones, and then Sky. And we were just like passing around his Nokia phone. Like it was the coolest thing to us because we didn't have one, and he had this snake game, and that's what we would do, like pass it around, write his number down. There was no way we were ever going to be able to text him or call him, but like it was just cool that Sky had that. So I think about that.
I think you should show me how to use it. I didn't know how to use it. That's when I think she taught me how to text message.
Wait, was it the one where you had to like again just to get one letter?
Yeah.
Jesus.
But like I didn't even know text messaging was a thing.
Wow.
And then suddenly
you just aged yourself horribly right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
You sent this to that and that.
Mind blown. Wow.
And then I remember CJ was the first one to ever have an iPod. We had no idea what an iPod was, and then it was just like, wow, like we want this. How are we going to get this? And then at the same time, MDs came out. And Sky had an MD too, and so it was like making the music on those little mini disc
thing.
Yeah.
We were talking about that before. That is a technology that didn't blow up, but it was way better. They lasted forever. It was like and you could record your own shit on it. Like, it was nice.
That's what we did. That's how we recorded our first songs. We recorded them on the mini disc.
Wow, that's cool.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think I was working with Joel for the community here, and with one of his paychecks, he got a mini disc player, and I used to jam it all the time. But it was cool to just have some headphones and something to jam, like carry your music around. That was the shit, like game changer. You know? Damn.
Yeah. Do you guys remember sitting in the Kiva? We would all be playing music, or like find that as a way to getting out of class.
That was nice. Yeah.
I remember that too. That's cool. I think that's where we were passing around music and playing music. I always remember playing a Deftones song one time in the library. I had a guitar or something, and I think it was Shove It. I was playing, and then all of a sudden, like, this person came around the corner, and they, like, looked at me all mean. It was Tanner, and I was just like, aw. Yeah, I'm a poser. And, I think that was probably the only song that stuck with me at that time. And then, like that, I don't know, I just couldn't get into them until later on. Like, they're one of my favorite bands still to this day. So.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
but I love that. Those memories. It's cool.
All right. So we're going to wrap this up here because I got a son at home waiting for me. He's probably getting upset. What I've been asking people, so you're not a teacher. Yes, you are. You're kind of a leader, role model. You are. You are. I think I heard it. Yeah? Are you a teacher?
No.
Okay. You're setting an example. You're setting an example for the people that are coming after you and under you. They're around you. They see it, and you're teaching them that it's possible for a native TO person to get out there in the world and get educated, and then become powerful and take their community and guide it, which is huge. So I want you to say a couple of words to the children, maybe. Let's say that. A couple of words to your friends, and then just a couple of like final words, something to live by, whatever. So the students, the kids coming up, your friends, and then something to your family. So start with the kids.
Yes. So I always say, you know what? I grew up in the same community. I had some of the same teachers. I know the same people as you. There's really not a lot of difference between me and you. You have the same opportunities that anybody could have here. You just have to be willing and open to doing it and to just meeting new people and putting yourself out there, and whatever's meant for you is going to come to you. I strongly believe that.
Cool.
So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to just put yourself out there.
Nice.
To the community, like, just thank you so much for believing in me, for supporting me, for still to this day being that motivation. I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be the person I am today if it weren't for just the simple support of everyone. You know, I keep saying, I'm a product of this community. Like, I strongly believe that my roots are here, and they're always going to be here. And it, you know, it really wouldn't be, I wouldn't be who I am if it wasn't for all of that, for a community.
Yeah.
And then, what was the last one?
So it was the kids, your friends, and then to your family. Yeah,
my family too. You know, thank you for just, I always think about my life as this roller coaster. Like, a lot of times everything I've done in my life has just been, I just done it and then came home and been like, oh, hey, Mom and Dad, I want to run for Miss Tio, or I'm going to do this and that. And they're just like, they had no other choice but to just get on the ride with me.
Nice.
And they never stopped me.
Good.
They never questioned, you know, if I was capable. They just always let me do my thing, and we figured it out on the way.
Cool.
And I love that, and I'm so thankful for that kind of support, because it really just allowed me to just do my thing. And I can't imagine. I think that's what scares me most about being a parent. You know, I really want to be a parent in the future, but I'm like, dang, what kind of ride is this person going to take me on? And I have to be that supportive person too, and just be willing to just go with them.
Cool.
And so I really thank my mom and dad for that, because I freaked myself out too, just thinking of all the things I've ever done in my life. They were there and just didn't have a choice but to just go with me. So thank you to everyone. Thank you. I love you all. Stay safe. And thank you to you guys for the friendship. You know, it's been years. I wanted to do this in person just because I wanted to see you guys and to just sit around this table just like we are. And I'm very happy. These are the types of things that keep me going. I still, like I said, want to go back to school and still have a vision for myself, but these little things are what pushes me. And to be accountable. And so, yeah, this is medicine to me.
Cool. Nice. Nicely put. We're glad you came on, and you're definitely welcome back. We'll pick a subject next time you come on. And we'll just go at it with, I think we already nailed some music subject here, but, you know, when you come on again, we'll just figure something out. I'm glad it was in person too. Like, I can see your face, I can see you smile. You haven't stopped smiling this entire time. I like that. It kind of, you were talking about energy, that you have this energy, and you know, you search it and you feel it, and just your smile alone, I can tell that you got this good, positive energy in you. So it was nice to see you in person. I'm glad you came on. What's the name of the podcast?
America's Native Podcast.
Pretty close with Natives in America Podcast.
Natives in America Podcast.
I'd say it one more time so people know.
Natives in America Podcast.
Booyah. All right, we good?
I think so.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Natives in America Podcast. Remember, next time, I'm going to ask you next time. And we're on the Reservation Radio Network, so...
hit us up.
Yeah, hit us up. If you guys enjoy this, feedback, give us feedback. You know, you'll be able to send messages to Cissi on the YouTube channel when you come check out the video. We're going to share it and all that, so feel free to give us feedback, give Cissi feedback, and we'll just pass the word on.
Yeah, hit her socials.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Here we go. Peace.